Hola from San Miguel de Allende, and we are going to be talking with Michael, who's back here making some coffee for us. This tiny little secret coffee shop, which we're not going to tell you the location about. Sorry. When I first talked to Michael, he talked about having had his dream job, which he'll tell us about, and then losing his dream job, but now having a dream life and being able to live here in San Miguel de Allende. This is a beautiful town. He just showed me where he lives for just $700 a month. You're going to be amazed at what he's got here. He's got rescue animals and runs a Sunday brunch, which we just came from. So we've got a lot to talk about, but let's start out with Michael talking about, when he was working in that dream job.
Hi, my name's Michael Solof. I've been in San Miguel now for coming up on 3 years on Valentine's Day. I had a dream job, my dream job in Baltimore, Maryland. I was a curator of a museum, the pop culture, comic books, and entertainment museum called Jeffy's Entertainment Museum. And it was stunning. I loved it. Dream job, like I said. And then all of a sudden, it all disappeared. The Library of Congress came in, bought out the collection, and I was out of a job. Got another job in Texas shortly thereafter, sold my house, and then 2 days before closing, the Texas job called and said, we changed our mind. We want to use the money internally, and thank you very much. So suddenly I found myself without a job and without a house. Just then the mailman arrived after, of course, I curled in a fetal position in the corner. But after that, the mailman came and gave me the magazine that we all dread and hate and say, that's not us, the AARP magazine. And I went to throw it out like I always do. And the cover story was on international living. And I thought, heck, I got the money from the house. Nothing's really tying me down to the US. So through them, I looked and found about 6 different places I wanted to try, including Medellin, Colombia, San Miguel, Mexico, Costa Rica, Portugal, Panama City. And I went to Medellin for 6 months. It was okay. Came here, and within about a week and a half, just fell in love with the place. Said, I'm home. I've never felt more comfortable. I've never felt more happy. So it was the greatest decision of my life, stemming from one of the worst things that ever happened to me, losing my dream job. And because I love to give credit where credit is due, I've got to give a big shout out to International Living and the International Living magazine. Because without their services, God, they helped me so much. When I was in Medellin, I had a little tiny apartment there. The reason I got it is because it was in a 32-story building, and at the top floor they had a gorgeous pool that looked over the entire city. So I thought when I come to Mexico, I'll find a place for about the same amount of money. One of the reasons why I picked San Miguel is because they have one of the best, if not the best, Spanish school in the entire country, the Warren Hardy Spanish school. And through them, I found the place that I'm living in now. Originally, they were all sold out, but the guy that works with them said he had a few other places, and this was the place that he ended up showing me. I got it basically sight unseen. They sent me a picture of the living room and the dining room, and I'm not picky, so I said, sure, it looks beautiful, because it was gorgeous Mexican design. I said, sure, and that's how I ended up coming here, and that's how I ended up living where I'm living now. And being that this is Mexico, you go behind a door and you never know what's going to open up behind it. So when I found this place, first of all, it was a gated community, which I didn't expect at all. Then as I walked up my walkway to my house, I see a gorgeous swimming pool and hot tub. That was unexpected. And when I finally get to my house, it is stunning, so Mexican, so beautiful. Inside my front gate, I have a beautiful little courtyard. As we enter into the house, a wonderful living room, couches, TV sets, just beautiful. And like I said, you'll see as we go through in the video how beautifully decorated this was in terms of the Mexican design and everything. That blew me away.
And it was furnished.
It was furnished. From the living room, we can head over into the kitchen, through the dining room, and out onto the sun deck. Love the sun deck. I spend so many hours there just sitting, reading, relaxing with me and the cats and the dogs all piled up on my lap. And it's just amazing place to spend the day. Had this beautiful wooden staircase leading up the stairs to the second floor. On the second floor, I had a giant master bedroom and a even more giant, believe it or not, a master bathroom with a tub that could probably hold a family of 12. It was just so big, and good water pressure, which made me very happy, and just unexpected to find all this luxury here. And besides that, through here, I also have a second bedroom, so that when I have guests or family come into town, they can always stay here. Funny thing is, though, even though I've got this giant master bedroom, the bed was too soft for me and it was hurting my back. So I tend to leave the king-size bed in the master bedroom for the dogs and the cats, and they live in luxury on that, and I'm off sleeping in the second bedroom. Now, the tiny hidden feature in the second bedroom is behind these curtains here, you'll find a set of stairs leading up to the most beautiful rooftop that I've seen in San Miguel. But it's not an easy adventure to get up there, but it's worth the climb. But as you can see right now, I'm not at home. I'm sitting in our coffee shop, and the way that happened was about 2 days after I moved in, I walked out the front door, I finally got settled in, and I found this beautiful coffee shop here. And it's gotten to the point that I would spend an hour here a day, and then 2 hours a day, and then 3 hours a day. Super comfy chairs, great Wi-Fi, incredible people, wonderful coffee. And it got to the point that the owner every once in a while would go, "I've got to go somewhere. Do you mind watching the place?" So I would. And that grew longer and longer to the point that I became a guest barista. And now I'm sort of co-helper of the place. I love it here. And I'm known as the guy who lives in the chair. People will come in and go, "Where's the guy who lives in the chair?" That's me. Now, I told you that I was a guest barista here, but that's not the way I pay my bills. I'll tell you how I do that in a few. But let's leave the coffee shop now and go into this amazingly beautiful town. I always tell people whenever I'm working with them, whenever I'm visitors and friends, if they're new to the town, the number one thing to do in this place is look in every door and every window. I'm a science fiction fan. I told you about the curation thing. There is a thing in Doctor Who where they have a phone booth that when you walk in, inside it's just unbelievably big, and outside it's just a phone booth. San Miguel is the exact same way. Inside a tiny little door can lead to a place that's as big as a stadium. And I don't know how they do it. I'm often doing this kind of thing, looking in and out of the door, but it blows me away, and it blows every visitor away to this town. And a lot of people ask if I speak Spanish. One of the reasons why I picked San Miguel is because they do have that Warren Hardy school that is one of the best Spanish schools in town. So I started learning it. I would love to learn more. The reason why it's so hard to speak Spanish in this town is because Americans have been coming here since World War II. The GI Bill allowed them to come here in droves to study art and all sorts of literature and things like that. So they have been coming to this spot in Mexico longer than almost anywhere else in the entire country. So that's why everyone speaks English, or I would say a large portion of them. So it's hard to practice your Spanish when every time you speak Spanish, they want to speak English to you, and everyone around you is speaking English. I've been here for 3 years now, and it just amazes me, the community here. Once I started with the Warren Hardy School, I started looking for other things to do around here. And through some of the San Miguel websites that are fantastic, I found just this huge welcoming community offering so many things with music, which I love, arts, theater, horseback riding, going out to vineyards, just anything you can think of was offered in this little tiny town. I mean, it literally takes me only 20 minutes to walk across it. And through these sites, I started going to all sorts of different events. People, like I said, are so welcoming. Not only the other expats, of which there's tons and tons, but also even the locals. They are just amazingly nice, kind, and courteous. And all you have to do is make just a little effort to speak just basic Spanish, and they light up, they smile, they want to help you out. And through not only the locals, but also with all the expats, there's been no end to the amount of things that I've found to do. I've been told since I moved here by my friends that I'm doing semi-retirement, retirement, whatever you want to call it, all wrong, because I am busier now than I ever was in the States when I had a full-time job. Literally every day I'm running out with friends. I am going to dinners and lunches and all sorts of fun activities. And through these websites and a lot of the San Miguel groups, there's no end to finding things to do in this town. As a matter of fact, I just started a new adventure with a friend of mine, Kat Sparks, a fellow foodie and photographer, that we're calling Thursday Night Supper Club. It's just so much fun being able to share my love of the community, the restaurants, the vineyards, and all the local eateries with everybody not only in town, but visiting from out of town. It's really been a lot of fun setting up this Thursday Night Supper Club with Kat. If you want to visit us, you can visit us on Facebook at Experience SMA, or if you want to stop by our website, that's experiencesma.com. Hope to see you there. So I have this beautiful home that I'm so happy to be living in. When I came here, I was originally paying a little bit more, but I got to know the landlords and who live across the way from me, and they are just stunningly nice, and they saw how well I was keeping up the place and offered me a deal that I couldn't resist. So right now I'm paying about $700 a month for that place, which includes everything except for the cable, because I needed really, really good internet service. So I was willing to pay all the extra to get the most amount of service for there. But other than that, $700 is covering everything. I got to tell you, it's a really good deal. I got a great bargain there. Normally, it would be probably a few $100s more, but it's really working out well for me. Other expenses that I have, of course, besides the place, is food, shopping, and just going out and spending time with friends. Coffee. I'm always buying a lot of coffee here. I'm the king of coffee. I would say that on the whole, or on the average, whichever term you want to use, I'm spending about a third to maybe a half, somewhere in there, of what I would in the United States. And San Miguel is considered on the higher end of things. So even at that, I'm always just amazed at how little money I'm having to spend to live exceedingly well. And I'm not a frugal type. I wish I was. Gosh, I wish I was. Mom was, but I never quite picked that up from her. So I tend to love going out and eating at the nicer places. So yes, it is costing me a little bit more. But if you're on the frugal end or even just the average end, you can live so well here. Inexpensive, lovely places. I don't have a car. I don't need a car in this town. I take the bus, which is 48 cents in American money, or 8 pesos here. If the bus doesn't go to where I'm going to, I'll take a taxi. That's like $3 to $4. And when I just went back to the States for a visit, the same taxi ride cost $24 in the States. So I don't mind hopping into a taxi and taking a 5-minute ride somewhere, 8-minute ride, because like I said, you can walk across the town in 20 minutes. You can drive across the thing in a lot less than that. When I first got here, to handle the expenses, I used the money that I had made from the sale of the house. But after a while, I wanted a little money coming in instead of just having everything go out. So I looked around and I said, what can I do here? And I came up with a few ideas. The first one was being a tech guy, because so many people are looking for people to help them do basic services on their cell phones. But I didn't want to be bothered 24 hours a day and have a real job. So then I thought, I'm a photographer. And I thought, well, what the heck, I can set up my own photography kind of studio here, sell my prints and things like that. But then I realized that once again I was getting back into what I had in the States, a full-time job sitting in a store, and I didn't want that. So I thought back to literally the morning that I woke up and I looked at the ceiling in my bedroom and said, this is stunning, and started taking pictures with my iPhone. I said, what can I do here that will help everybody and that I enjoy doing because I've been a teacher in the past, is I can combine the teaching and the photography, and I set up a job that I only have to work for about 6 or 7 hours a week, which helps me to pay the rent, and that is teaching iPhone photography to newcomers, to locals, and taking advantage of being able to show off how much I love San Miguel, as well as teaching something that everybody wants to get better at, taking better pictures whenever they're on vacation or at home or with the family.
So as you heard, Michael's dream life does not involve being job-free, but it's going to be very job-light. Going from having that dream job in essentially a comic book museum to having a 7-hour-a-week job in a place as gorgeous as San Miguel de Allende. I bring you these stories so that you can see what's possible. So what is possible for you? I mean, he had photography skills and teaching skills, combined that together and made something that he's able to pay his rent with and afford to live here because the cost of living is so much less. So I just want to really encourage you, if you haven't already moved to Mexico, to really start thinking about that. So I've got a video up here with Gary, who's probably on the opposite end of the economic spectrum, but what's important there is planning. Creating a plan to make these things happen is important. And I've got more videos down here that are interviews from folks who've made it happen in Mexico. Hasta luego.